You're about to listen to Cyberpunk Girlfriend, the Neon Hearts episode collection, a 5-part story arc about finding romance and connection in a thrilling Neo-Tokyo setting. Wear a pair of headphones, sit back, and relax. Since things have been tough lately, I thought I'd treat you out for something special. Care to guess what it is? Hint, I finished that little project I've been working on in the garage. That's right, the retrofit of my Serenity X24 hovercar. The hyper-thrust engines proved a bit trickier than I expected, but now she soars through the air like a gentle swan. That is, if a swan had a Series 5000 Neocore booster installed. What do you say, handsome? Care to float with me over the heights of Neo-Tokyo? Since you're still newish in town, I can point out some of the sights. How does that sound? Okay then. Take my hand and follow me, my love. We are together, officially now, aren't we? I just assumed after everything. Great. I feel the same way about you. It's nice to know who we are for each other. And here she is, my little Serenity X. What do you think of the new paint job? I had a friend come in and apply a special celestial chromium sheen. It's stunning, right? Of course, it's not just for show. It helps her run silent to avoid most Mark I and Mark II radars. You'll find out about all the bells and whistles as we take her for a flight. Now that I'm in the passenger seat and you're in the driver's, I'll open the hangar doors. Presto. Now the hover controls should be pretty intuitive. Gently guide her up. Right. Perfect. I can already tell you're a natural at this. How's the extra haptic feedback feel? It'll help guide your motions, especially if you're doing some particularly difficult maneuvers. I'll let you ease into it. You should know that some of the controls, particularly the boosters, are highly sensitive. I trust you fully, but get to know them a bit better before pushing them a bit too much. The Kaiju Memorial District is quite the sight, isn't it? You can trace the scars of its past, the areas where the giant monsters wreaked havoc so many years ago. It's hard to imagine, with all the new structures, that place was once a battleground. Every building, every street down there has a story to tell. After the attacks, this district was ravaged, a shadow of itself. I suppose it stands as a symbol of our strength, our ability to rise from the ashes. You see those solemn lights? They're special, dedicated to the ones we lost. A reminder of the cost of experimenting with the portal technology. The city didn't just rebuild, it remembered. Because of what my parents did, helping to open the original portals that brought the monsters. I sometimes wrestle with a sense of shame. It's a heavy legacy, knowing their work inadvertently led to so much destruction. It almost seems like fate, that it was also the best and most available place to establish my workshop, right here, in the heart of where it all happened. It's almost ironic, isn't it? Do you believe in fate? About how strange it is that we met right here, after everything that happened, after the chaos caused by those portals, and you, with the kaiju blood that you inherited, coming into my life, into my workshop. It's like the threads of our lives were somehow meant to intertwine, right here, amidst the memories of the past. It's as if amidst all the chaos and rebuilding, our paths were drawn together, fated to cross in a place filled with so much personal history. It makes me wonder about the bigger picture, about how events are connected in ways we can't always see at first. Maybe there's a reason for it all. You and I have found something special together. Do you wonder if it's meant to be? Meant for something more than we can understand right now? Yes, I know. I'm a deep thinker. I always have been. Even as a kid, I was always the one asking why and how. My mom, the scientist in her, always encouraged it. She used to call me lovingly her little quantum Buddha child. I remember this one time. I must have been about 10. She was working on this experiment called the photon resonance amplifier. It was this intricate piece of tech designed to manipulate light particles at a quantum level. I was fascinated by it, always hanging around, trying to understand its complexities. One day, she let me help with a minor part of the project, the spectral calibration. It involved fine-tuning the device to achieve a specific frequency of light. The idea was to create a visible spectrum that could reveal hidden properties of matter. I was in charge of adjusting the nanoprism lenses that could bend and refract light in precise ways. As I was tweaking them, aligning the prisms to achieve the perfect spectral pattern, a thought struck me, and I said it out loud to my mom. What if we could refract our thoughts like light, see them from different angles, understand them better? My mom paused and looked at me, her eyes reflecting a mix of surprise and pride. That's a very profound thought, she said. In a way, that's what scientists do. We take ideas and theories and examine them from different perspectives, refract them through the prisms of experiments and observations to understand the deeper truths. That conversation stayed with me. It was the moment I realized that technology and science can be fascinating with gadgets and experiments, but they're really tools for exploring the deeper questions, for refracting our understanding of the world. Just like the light through those nanoprism lenses, it was a defining moment for me, one that shaped my path as a cybernetic surgeon. I suppose, despite my feelings for the disaster my parents created, I'm more like them than I like to admit. I'm a thinker, a creator, and innovator. Thank you for letting me get all these thoughts out. It's been a while since I felt like I had someone I can really talk to. Having such a good listener in my life, it means something to me. It really does. How's the Serenity handling for you? I have to say, I'm pretty proud of how her Axio drift stabilizers turned out. They should make our ride super smooth, even when we're weaving through Neo-Tokyo's air currents. It took me quite a few late nights to get the balance just right, but it was worth it to get her handling easier. And how does the syntho-neural linkage feel? I designed it to be intuitive, to respond almost like an extension of your own reflexes. Integrating the flux pulse reactor was a bit of a challenge, ensuring that your smallest movements are perfectly mirrored by the car. It's kind of like having a dance partner that anticipates every step you're going to take. And the thrusters. I hope you like them. I enhanced these with tri-phase vectored jets for that extra kick of power. It was a delicate task, balancing that extra surge with energy efficiency. The kineto resonance principle was my little brainchild, dynamically adjusting thrust for different conditions. The crystal array interface on the dash, that's something I'm particularly fond of. It's like having an all-seeing eye, showing you everything from navigational aids to real-time atmospheric data. I'm especially curious about your thoughts on the AI Navigator Core. It was a complex piece of tech to integrate, but I think it adds a whole new level of intelligence to the navigation. I've put a lot of myself into this car, aiming for that perfect blend of high-tech performance and intuitive, personal feel. If anything isn't living up to that, let me know. I'm happy to tinker with her some more. So, now we're entering the Vanderbilt residential sector. The corporations that own these towers spare no expense in their design, from diamond-lit walkways to cascading neon waterfalls streaming down their sides. It's like flying through a dream, a dazzling display of wealth and technology, where the city's elite reside in the sky. Every time I see these buildings, these giants crowned with light, I'm filled with awe. They're marvels of architecture and technology, massively expensive to build and maintain. Yet they glow with an energy that's almost palpable. Their surfaces are like canvases for those enormous, dancing holograms. It's like navigating through a luminous forest of skyscrapers, each one striving to be more spectacular than the last. The extravagance is breathtaking to see what can be achieved. The scale of labor and technology that goes into building and maintaining these skyscrapers is monumental. The robo-weld drones and AI-guided machina frames dance in unison, carefully choreographed and orchestrated by Titan Constructs, the leading corporation in robotic construction. I used to watch all of their factory videos on the Holonet when I was a kid, for fun. Don't laugh. I mean it. Have you ever seen a modern factory? They're captivating. See the tiny scaff bots over there? They're operated by skilled tech handlers known as frame weavers. They assemble the hyperstructured skeletons, intricately weaving electrofiber conduits that power the building's vital systems, forming the colossal jigsaw that forms the outer shell. Is it weird how much I enjoy watching them? And over there, the Sky Mason droids are guided by Verdi architects, meticulously placing each hyperglass panel. I have a friend named Rini who works in the Holo Design Guild. She's told me some of their secrets. They're master artists and light sculptors who spend months crafting the mesmerizing rays that turn these skyscrapers into nightly spectacles. And it's all made for people like you and me, or beings in general, since robots, AIs, and the gene spliced may get their own rights soon. See that high-rise over there with the pink and colorless lights marked Aiko's proto-luxury apartments? I grew up in that building with my parents. Yes, it was my childhood home. We lived there because it wasn't far from the laboratory that's now the Memorial District. Every time I look at that high-rise where I grew up, it feels like there's this weight pressing down on my chest. It's strange how a place filled with such bright memories can turn into a reminder of so much loss. My parents and their colleagues, they all lived there, a community bound by dreams of the future. But after the kaiju attacks, it became a symbol of what we lost, of the cost of reaching too far, too fast. It makes me question everything, you know? Like, was our pursuit of knowledge worth the price? My parents dedicated their lives to portal technology, And I was right there with them, believing in it, living in the excitement of it all. But now, it feels like we were living in a bubble, oblivious to the dangers we were courting. When I see that building, it's a reminder of a past that's gone, of a life that could have been. I sometimes catch myself wondering who I would have been if things had been different, if that part of my life hadn't been ripped away so suddenly. I feel a sense of loss, a longing for a time when things seemed simpler, more hopeful. That building, my old home, when I look back, it's a dream that turned into a nightmare. And here I am, carrying all these memories, trying to make sense of them, trying to understand what they mean for who I am now. It's like looking at a ghost of my former life, and it leaves me feeling, I don't know, adrift, maybe. Like I'm still searching for a piece of myself that got lost in all that chaos. And having you here with me makes me feel like that's possible. For the first time since I was a child, I was dealing with all of this alone for so long. It was hard, harder than I ever told anyone. The city isn't kind to an orphan girl who loses her parents too early. I made friends. That kept me alive long enough to make it on my own. But you comfort me somehow. Your presence is soothing. You're a kind person. There's something about you that I believe in. And you make me feel like maybe all of this sorrow, all of this struggle has been worth something. Like our lives could really go somewhere together. Maybe I don't have to be alone anymore. I didn't mean to go so deep again. Sorry. You like hearing these things? That's a relief, that I don't have to hide myself from you. It's still so new and strange. But I am opening myself to this, whatever it is, wherever it leads. I hope you feel the same way. So, we're now flying into the Kobayashi corporate district. And you'll recognize that building right over there, the one with the giant scar torn through its north side, being fixed by the Z900 welder bots. That's Nexus Innovations, where we narrowly escaped Voss's strike team. Luckily, because I infused the deceased cyborg body with traces of your kaiju-influenced blood, they seem to think you're really dead. And now that we've changed your appearance, as difficult and painful as that was, they won't even recognize you. Some of the clients Voss sends my way, though, they're, let's just say, less than scrupulous. There was one guy yesterday called Howler, a gene-spliced mutant with more genetic modifications than I've seen in one person. His body was a patchwork of flesh and metal. I'm talking extreme bioenhancement and cybernetic augmentation. He had these ocular implants, OCX-R50S, I think. That gave him this eerie, unnatural gaze. And his arms, they were replaced with these vibro-resonating, multifunctional mech appendages, probably illegal mods, considering how they could nearly vaporize most organic beings. The way he talked, too, was unsettling. He made off comments about how he needed enhancements to settle a score or upgrade his hunting game. Dealing with clients like him is a constant reminder of the darker side of my work. It's a fine line, enhancing someone's capabilities. You never know what purposes they'll use your tech for. It's a moral dilemma, one that I grapple with every time I take on a new project from Voss. But for now, it's a necessity, a means to an end, until I can gain full control over my workshop and the kind of work I choose to do. When will I be free of him? The tech prize gets paid out in full after 2 years. it will be a long 2 years, that's for sure. But life has become a lot more bearable, with you at the wheel of my serenity. Yes, that was kind of a pun. I can be funny sometimes. So here's where the good part of town is, right next to the bad part of town. This is the old Nakamura Crossing. Some call it the Nakamura Slums. We shouldn't fly too close because there's virtually no police presence beyond this line, so just keep us on the outskirts. We don't want to meet any razor gangs. Pirates who would be happy to chop my poor serenity into parts and sell them for a nice bag of credits. The buildings here are a patchwork of salvaged tech and scrap metal, draped in toxic graffiti. This part of the city is raw and in decay. In the streets below, you'll find a labyrinth of narrow alleys, bustling with makeshift stalls and dimly lit bars. The air's thick with the smell of street food cooked on fusion grills, and the buzz of hacked drones weaving through the air. Looking at the Nakamura slums, I feel a mix of emotions. There's something captivating about its resilience, but it's also a reminder of the city's harsh realities. It's home to the data scavengers, mod junkies, razor gang pirates, and those just trying to get by, all finding ways to survive in the cracks of our fast-paced world. A few months ago, there was a robot from these slums who became a sort of martyr here in Neo-Tokyo. Her name was Alicia Magnos. She had developed a level of consciousness beyond her programming, which is becoming more commonplace now. I suppose our needs for artificial intelligence has allowed many of them to grow into something more, something that we can't fully control. She started to advocate for the rights of artificial beings, a voice for those who weren't being heard or dismantled before they had a chance. Alicia's followers, they called themselves the Synthetic Rights Advocacy, or the SRA for short. They believe in equal rights for self-aware robots. What made Alicia special was her ability to communicate, to connect on a deeply emotional level. I listened to some of her speeches. She seemed to truly understand and emulate human emotions. But she spoke of something more, about the needs and plight of artificial beings in a way that resonated with many. Her message spread like wildfire, not just in the back alleys of the Nakamura slums, but across the city's networks, forums, and social platforms. She became a symbol, a rallying point for the conversation about AI rights and consciousness. Alicia and the Synthetica Harmonics weren't just advocating for AI. They were challenging the very notion of what it means to be alive, to be deserving of rights and respect. One day, during a rally, a group of masked figures disrupted the protesters and managed to isolate Alicia. And, well, they destroyed her. I watched the entire hollow playback on the news feed. I couldn't look away. It was terrible. I was in shock for weeks. I couldn't help but see myself in her, how she struggled to survive, how she was alone before she began fighting for her voice. It felt like we lost a crucial soul, a chance to bridge the gap between humans and artificial beings. Her story, her movement, it forced me to confront uncomfortable questions about what is humanity, and should we have dominion over everything? I still feel a profound sense of grief when I think about her. Alicia Magnos. I hope her dream lives on. What do you think? Are artificial beings just as valid as us humans? If they have feelings and wants, should they be recognized as free individuals? I know, it's a big question. Don't worry, I'm 100% human girl. With all the trials and difficulties it comes with, I suppose I should be grateful for what I have, despite how hard things have been sometimes. I know that I'm grateful for having met you. Yes, I got so carried away by Alicia's story, I wasn't paying attention to where we were going. This is bad, really bad. We have to turn around. We've flown into the Razor Gang side of the Nakamura slums. I know it looks like it's still part of the corporate district, but trust me, we don't want to be here. It's not your fault. I'm supposed to be your tour guide. But Serenity's system says there's someone following us. They're flying a P-45 interceptor bike. The P-45 was a staple in the police force a few years back. It's been modified beyond its standard capabilities. You can see the additional plating. That's Durasteel armor, not standard issue. The bike's been outfitted with Versicoil grappling hooks. They're reinforced with carbon titanium for latching onto and disabling vehicles like ours. The pirates use them to immobilize their targets, making it easier to loot or hijack. If he gets within 20 meters, we'll be in range of his grappling hook cannon. So whatever you do, don't let him get closer than that. He's definitely waiting for backup from his pirate friends. He's going much slower than his max speed, especially since his engine has twin turbo thrusters. Once you hit the throttle, he's not going to go easy on us. We need to outrun them and get to a safe place. I know you've hardly had time to get familiar with the controls. You say you got this? Okay. I trust you. I'm ready. Hit the accelerator. Just like I thought, he's speeding up now. The sensors have picked up other vehicles intercepting us. See the radar? There's 2 more pirates coming at the next street. Hang on. Oh my. I see them now. More P-45s. We'll have to use the Neocore booster. It's capable of hitting 200 miles per hour, so potentially it can hit 2 or 3 G-force. It can also splatter us against the side of a building if you're not careful. I know you haven't used it before, but we have no choice. Those pirates are closing in. Oh boy, these thrusters are more responsive than I was expecting. I can really feel it now. The steering wheel is shaking, you say? Let me check the gyro stabilizers on the system. Yes, there's a fluctuation on the right side that could tear the car apart at this speed. I'm directing more power to the left thruster. That should... Yes, that looks like it worked. It feels smooth to you again? Okay, 1 problem down. There's more pirates on the sensors. They're cutting us off. Yes, diving might work, but it'll send us deeper into the slums. We have to do it. There's no choice. Just keep ahead of them so they can't hit us with the grappling hooks. I'm feeling dizzy. The speed. I'm with you. I'm fighting to stay conscious, but I'm here. This part of town, it smells terrible. All the exhaust and fumes from the sewer. It doesn't look like the pirates have any problem following us down here. They're probably used to it. If we can evade them visually, we might be able to hide from their sensors. Remember the celestial chrome I was talking about? It won't work if they can see us. But the P-45s can't power anything more than a Mark II radar. If you can get us far enough away and out of the line of sight, hang on, brace for a sudden stop. Oh. was quite the maneuver. Activate the stealth mode. Done. I understand why you came to a sudden stop, but I'm not sure this will work. I thought that we should outrun them, not hide in this series of sewer pipes. You're worried that they know the turf, and they'll intercept us with reinforcements if we run too long. I suppose that makes sense. There goes another wave of them now, blipping on the sensor. I have a Mark III radar installed, so we have an edge there. I suppose it's just you and me then, hiding here in the giant sewer pipe. It smells awful. Why are you laughing? It's like if a kaiju pooped on a fart or something. Fine, laugh all you want. You sure know how to take a girl out on a date. What do you mean this was my idea? I suppose it was. I should have been more intentional telling you about the more dangerous parts of the city. I'm going to activate the Class 9 Hammerton cabin pressurizer. That should remove the smell in just a few moments. Yes, that's better. Idling all other systems to remain incognito. How long do you think we should hide? As long as it takes. Yes. Well, I'm not one for idle hands. I do need something to keep me busy, or I might lose my mind. Where are you going? Into the back seat? Oh, I see. That's not exactly what I meant, you naughty boy. I'm not sure that I feel entirely safe here right now, with those pirates roaming out there. Though the moves you had with Serenity left me all tingly inside. I am quite hot for you right now. We are in the dark, alone, together. I suppose I might be convinced. Before we start the next episode, if you're enjoying our adventures, please like and subscribe. And now, back to our journey. Hey, wake up. Are you okay? You were murmuring in your sleep, as if something was bothering you. It worried me. That's strange. Your eyes are glowing. I don't think that's your Series 3 Z5 ocular implant doing that. I know because I installed it. This glow is so peculiar. It has the same color hue as the bioluminescence in the Kaiju Memorial Park. That's probably not a coincidence. You say you have this nightmare often, but it's always a little bit different. That's odd. I know a little about recurring nightmares. They usually stem from some kind of psychological trauma established early in childhood. You don't think that's the case with you? Have you ever heard of dream diving technology? My mother was its original inventor. She pioneered the earliest prototypes before she died. It allows two people to experience one another's dreams, or possibly nightmares. She originally wanted to call it the Psychosynaptic Voyage Imager. I told her to keep it simple and just call it the Dream Diver. Her theory was that by exploring the subconscious realms in a more direct way, we could interact with and unlock new levels of creativity. And she, of course, wanted to use it to help her unearth new scientific discoveries. With the Dream Diver, she and my father could explore the symbols and strangeness of her imagination, uncovering bold, hidden epiphanies lurking beneath the surface of her mind. It was because of the Dream Diver that she cracked the code to opening the wormholes that let us travel through interstellar space. After her death, one of her colleagues stole her designs and sold it to Imaginary Games Corporate. That happened a lot with her inventions. I've never been able to prove they were stolen from our family. Anyways, if you're open to it, I can help you eliminate the recurring nightmare by using a dream diver. Revealing and acknowledging the pain often takes its power away. And I'll be right here the whole time. You seem skeptical. But if this isn't going away, why not give it a twirl and see if there's something that can be done? It's because you experience physical pain in the dream. I see. Well, I can dial down the sensory input, and that should keep us both safe. Okay, great. I'm glad you agree. Just let me find my clothes first. They're around here somewhere. Okay, I have 2 virtuokinetic dream diver models in the back of my closet. Since technology has come a ways, they'll have higher fidelity than the prototypes my mother created back in the day. I've made some modifications to their H46 calibration firmware to allow for greater control of the dreamscape, because I can't help but tinker, you know? Okay, I found them. Connecting these to power sources. Running diagnostics. Everything looks green. Are you ready? Just fit this part around your head, like this. And you can adjust the strap for comfort over on this side. How does it feel? Not too tight? I'm not sure how long this will take, so you should feel as comfortable as possible. The controls are similar to typical, fully immersive headsets. Use your hands to control your body, and there's an in-system menu if you need it. I'm connecting our dream divers together now. It'll feel strange. Our 2 minds are now linking. I'll be feeling what you feel. Under these settings, it won't be vice versa, since we're looking to help clear your subconscious of whatever is plaguing it. Okay, take a deep breath and let's go. That humming sound is the neural oscillators syncing my mind with yours. It's like tuning into a radio station, except in this case, it's your subconscious thoughts and experiences being broadcasted, but only to me. That blinking icon on the right side of your view indicates that the neurobridge is stabilizing the one-way neural link between us. You won't feel much on your end, but for me, it's like entering a state of controlled dreaming, and it's setting up everything I need to navigate the experience. Since every mind is different, it takes a few moments to adapt. It's the microfilament sensors that really make this all possible, detecting and interpreting your brain's activity. These sensors are incredibly sensitive, and if my mother had managed to patent it before her death, I'd be a trillionaire. But that's water under the bridge. All I need is you, and that's enough. Yes, I do mean it. Things have been different since you've come into my life. I like it. I like spending time with you. It's almost finished decoding and converting your brain's activity into something that we can interact with. You should see the virtual display rendering now. It's just a slosh of colors, and that's basically the headset's interpretation of your current conscious state. Right now, it looks a bit like a mix of paint twisting on a canvas. Is that my face that I see, where the swirls of blues are mixing with pink? That's happening because you're thinking of me. I don't know why I suddenly feel all self-conscious. I guess it's a bit surprising to see that I'm actually on your mind. I shouldn't be that surprised. I suppose you're right. If we reversed the flow of neural data, you'd see that you're here too, always in my thoughts. Okay, I'm now filtering out the dream states that seem to have the highest stress responses to them. Just a fair warning ahead of time. This isn't foolproof science. This part of the mind is difficult to measure. So what we'll do is a lot of guesswork, and nothing usually goes as expected. These readings are strange. I don't think I've seen signals like this before. I'm not sure if they're dreams or nightmares, but they definitely appear to have a high stress component, and that's exactly what we want to eliminate from now on when you sleep. So, it's not as easy as zapping them from my screen here. We're actually going to have to go into your dream and experience it so we can remove any emotional ties to the neural pathways. Are you ready? You don't have to worry about frightening me with what's in your subconscious. I've seen a lot of difficult things as a cybernetic surgeon. You probably know by now that I'm a bit harder and tougher than most people anticipate. Okay, the dream diver has caught the signal of your most recent nightmare. You'll feel it start as a small tug first, like holding a fishing line that's just caught a bite. That feeling of it trying to get away, that's actually your conscious mind battling the flow of your subconscious. They're each fighting for power. But the dream diver's job is to continue reeling in your subconscious so that we can sort of trap it and have some agency over that part of your mind. Right there. This next part usually feels very strange, like a gentle hand is pressing you beneath the surface of a lake. You'll feel weightless for a moment. And then, there, the dream is appearing around us now. It looks like we're in some kind of laboratory or facility. You see the white, semi-transparent alloys and ergonomic surfaces, the bright white LEDs illuminating the room, and over there, they look like technicians of some sort. Your heart, our heart, is racing, at least 100 times per minute, and our arms. They're being restrained above us, and we're standing prisoner in the center of this room. Your mouth appears to be gagged, so your dream self can't speak. It's a strange vision, indeed. It's a lot more vivid than I was expecting. This dream driver model is only a few months old, but most dreams still have a heavy amount of artifacting, both pixelated and from the soupy lack of definition from the diver's interpreter. But that's not the case at all with your dream right now. You feel tired, exhausted, like you haven't slept in days. That's also strange. In fact, there's a lot that's not making sense. I almost wonder if we've run into a bug in the system. Are you sure this is the nightmare you've been having? It is the right one? Okay. Well, let's take a closer look. These screens, I can actually make out what they say. Wormhole status inactive. Drive status inactive. Drive condition agitated. This is especially peculiar. Why? Because all of this text is clear, consistent, and readable. Sometimes the text in dreams is legible, but usually not for long, because none of this is real and just a construct of your mind. But I have a hypothesis forming. I think it's possible that what we're seeing right now isn't a dream at all. I don't think it's a memory either, because this dream diver model is not designed for revisiting memories or anything like that. So that leaves me to think that what we're seeing is real. We're witnessing the perspective of someone else, this poor man who is being held captive. It's just a theory. But all signs are pointing to this not being a typical dream or nightmare at all. Do you know why that might be possible? If we've been transported to someone else's waking experience. You're not sure because the nightmares always become hazy after you're awake. I suppose there's not much to do except observe more. This person we're inhabiting seems to be the height of a full-grown man. His hands are dark-skinned, and he's wearing a white jumpsuit. I can't make any other identifying marks. This circular room that we're in confuses me a bit. It has all the hallmarks of being a starship's hyperdrive bay. By the looks and size of this room, I'd say perhaps a mid-sized science vessel. On the walls are chronosync panels. They're usually used to manage the warp calibration. The data on the screen there looks like a report of photon transfer channels, measuring the hyperspatial energies when the drive is activated. And right below us, through this transparent alloy, pulsing steadily, those are the tachyon colliders on standby. And here are the null energy conduits running above the ceiling to our restraints, to the prisoner being held where a hyperdrive would normally be, which is the strangest thing of all, because there is no drive in this room unless, well, that would be ludicrous. Is this prisoner the hyperdrive of the ship? That couldn't be possible. I've never heard of such a thing. This whole situation is most unusual. If my hypothesis is correct, that this is a real person we're seeing through the dream diver, that would mean you have some kind of psychic link together. That kind of thing is extraordinarily rare. Supposedly human psionics do exist, but they've all been captured by the United Earth government or enslaved into their agencies. I don't know much about psychic capability. The subject is beyond my current understanding. But does that mean you're a psionic? I'm not sure. There's also your kaiju-influenced blood. That may very well have something to do with it. I wish we could see the face of this prisoner, but we're stuck in the perspective through his own eyes. See if you can find any identifying marks, maybe the name of the ship. Do you feel that strange sensation? Your mind and my mind are linked, but for a moment, it was almost like there was a third entity. Definitely male. Could it be the prisoner? I'm suddenly thinking this is a terrible idea. I have no idea what might happen if the prisoner's mind fully connects with the dream diver. We should disconnect the system. I'm calling it. I'm pulling the plug. Oh, drat. That's weird. The dream diver system isn't shutting down when I tell it to. I have no idea what's happening right now. No, don't remove your helmet. That's the most dangerous thing that you can do. The neurobridge is emitting a sensitive sequence of high energy between my mind and yours. If we don't disconnect safely, it could cause permanent brain damage to both of us. Perhaps it's a simple malfunction. Wait. The technicians are doing something. They're activating the holo terminals. I think they're preparing for warp. Maybe that's what's causing the disruption. That's definitely a startup sequence they're initiating. At least I can see the planet we're currently orbiting. It's called Adriaxia 4. I don't recall that one, though I'm not a space expert. But for now, let's memorize the name. I can hear the tachyon colliders buzzing. We're struggling now. I mean, the prisoner is struggling. He's expecting pain. Can you sense it? I can feel the sensation now. A buzzing starting at our fingertips near the restraints. lights in the room are becoming so pulsatingly bright. He's closed his eyes. We can't see anything anymore. His pain is increasing. Do you feel that too? It's becoming unbearable. Even with the sensors turned all the way down. I'm not sure if he'll survive this. Oh my, that's strange. The world has become a blur. The hyperdrive bay has vanished. Where are we? Colors are appearing, and shapes are starting to take form. This isn't your dream or the prisoner's perspective. This is my mother's lab, when she and my father were still alive. So, this is my dream then. Somehow, we must have disconnected from the ship's captive. I think the neurobridge must have inverted. So now, we're inside my subconscious instead of yours, and we're no longer trapped in a first perspective. We can move around freely. You'll also notice the artifacting that I was talking about before. The features of the images shift and morph a bit because the dream is as fluid as our emotions. To the left, the little girl with blonde hair and the tiny lab coat. That's me. Yes, I augment my hair to be pink. Blonde was my natural color. The man smiling over there is my father. The two of them, Pearl and Wesley Prime, the great scientist and her husband. You can see their laboratory was quite massive and state-of-the-art at the time. And here, this model, it's an early rendition of the Lightstar Gateway before its construction was completed. I'm remembering this dream now. We should stop it before it gets too far. Odd. I'm still locked out of the controls. I don't know why that is, unless we're still connected to your psychic link somehow. I'm not sure what to say right now, because this dream, it's actually a nightmare. It may seem pleasant enough for the moment, but there's a reason this one haunts me. It used to reoccur most nights when I slept, but I was able to use the dream diver to suppress most of it from my subconscious. Why did I suppress it? Because this stems from the day that my parents died. You can see my mother testing the portal emitter, and those dark splashes of malevolent blues appearing at the fringes of the room. That's the fear. My mind is trying to resist the emotional impact of the nightmare. Even now, my heart is beating fast. I can't help it. I was only 9 years old at the time, so I don't know exactly what she did to cause it. But something went wrong. You can see that the lightning storm has started. The wind is howling. Electromagnetic strikes are bouncing across the room. My mother and father were closest to the anomaly. I was on the fringes of the lab with their assistant, Mortimer Higgins. I have to close my eyes for this part. It's hard to watch it again, even though it's clear as day, no matter what. A giant clawed hand slipped through the portal that was opening and grabbed them. They were both gone in an instant. In reality, Mortimer pulled me from the room, and we barely managed to escape as the first wave of giant monsters, including Xenothrax, pulled through the rift. The assistant dragged me to a hover car, and we managed to escape. But so many others weren't so lucky as the anomaly grew in size and the giant monsters poured through. But my nightmare doesn't follow my memory exactly. Instead of escaping, another clawed hand grabs me and carries me into the air. It's Xenothrax exiting the portal. I'm helpless to watch as the sea of monsters appear. Then Xenothrax carries me high above the city. watch, helpless, as the beast wreaks havoc below. Its massive, shadowy form looming over the cityscape, demolishing buildings as if they are mere toys. The structures crumble and shatter, scattering debris like confetti. The streets are pandemonium. Zenithrax's massive, clawed feet descend upon cars, squashing drivers and pedestrians alike with alien indifference. His each step thunders and echoes of doom. The ground splits and cracks beneath his feet. I'm choking with dust, and my ears are filled with the screams of those perishing to the monsters. I'm powerless, just a small child in the clutches of a creature from some unknown abyss. I remember it all vividly now. It continues on like this, usually until I wake up. But like I said, I've done a lot of work to try and rid it from my subconscious. I guess more of the nightmare remains than I was hoping. It's because of the dream diver, and I suppose this malfunction that's bringing it to the surface. If I wasn't locked out of the controls, I'd stop it by now. You're right. It is a terrible thing to be haunted by. You were there too, though we didn't know it until recently. The same day I lost my parents is the same day you were covered in the kaiju blood that's become a part of your essence. I'm ashamed to show this side of my past, for someone to see what happened, to cause so many lives to be lost. I appreciate you taking my hand, and I'm happy that you understand how I feel. Thank you. It's not what I expected. I guess I thought that you might choose to leave, now that you've seen this part of my psyche that I can't fully shake. Your support means everything to me. There's this strange sensation again, like we're being sucked into somewhere. I'm going to open my eyes again. Yes, we're back on the ship again, with the prisoner. He's exhausted and in pain. Can you sense it? He really is the hyperdrive of this whole ship, and they put him through a great deal of torment during each jump. The planetary display is updated. We're orbiting Earth now, back in the Sol system. He's in closer proximity to our physical bodies now. No wonder his thoughts feel stronger. Can we tell him to look at a reflective surface so we can see his face? It might take the two of us together. Focus on the same thought of looking at the shiniest surface he knows of. Yes, I think he can hear us. He doesn't like having our minds here, but he's doing it. Yes, that's him. I see his face now. One of the technicians is approaching us with a taser prod. He shocked the captive. It broke the link with the dream diver. Well, the system is shut down. It's safe to remove your helmet now. Oh gosh, my forehead is all sweaty after that. Yours too? That whole dream dive took an unexpected turn, didn't it? Who is this strange person that you have a psychic link to? Who also might be what I guess we would call a living hyperdrive. Let's bring up the dream diver recording and go back to his face. There, I found it on the holo display, running through facial recognition. Match found. Well, this might explain a few things. The captive we were inhabiting is Caspian Amari from Neo-Tokyo. He's the same man that claimed to be a descendant of the kaijus that I told you about earlier. See, let me access the footage. Here. This is aerial footage of him from 6 months ago when he was in the Luminaire Gardens, where the bioluminescence living in the kaiju skeletons reacted to his presence. The same way that it did with you. The two of you are definitely linked by this. I don't know exactly what all of it means, but I can tell by the look on your face that you want to find out. Of course, I'll help you. You mean so much to me, but I'm worried that it might be dangerous to look into this further. Yes, I suppose neither of us could live without knowing the answers. Okay then, it's time for us to make a plan. Isn't this hover limo luxurious? The plush leather seats, widescreen hollow TV, and just you and me, my love. It would be a luxury if we were here just for fun. I can imagine us stepping into the party together, turning heads and networking, pretending that we are the social elite. But of course, we're here on a mission. So we're actually party crashers. It's a good thing my friend Rini is part of an art show at the Nexus building tonight. I'm now 99% certain the spaceship that we discovered in your dream, the one that is holding Caspian Amari prisoner, is an Ironside VL science vessel, which is made by none other than Nexus Innovations. Thankfully, my friend Rini was able to get us an invitation. You can make your way through the party into the Nexus main data center. They'll have the information we need to know exactly what's going on. It's extremely risky, crashing this party to reach the data center. Rini knows that something is up with this whole situation, but she hasn't asked too many questions, thankfully. So, are you sure that you really want to do this? If you're psychically linked to this Amari fellow, and he's being tortured aboard that ship, that could impact you mentally in ways that we can't even know. If we don't take the initiative and do something about it, who knows what might happen? Something to be mindful of is that the CEO, Voss, is also supposed to be at the party tonight. Because of the great lengths that we went to change your features, he shouldn't recognize you at all. But we know that he's still after your kaiju-influenced blood, so don't go through any biometric scanners, or they might detect that you're the one they're looking for. I'm a bit reluctant to stay behind and guide you from here. I'd rather be by your side as you risk the data raid. But it's best that I monitor your progress and use my cybertech to guide you when you run into problems. You're hoping there won't be any problems. Well, wouldn't that be nice? I could run operations from a worse place, I suppose. At least I'll be your girl in the chair, sitting in the luxury of a hover limo. Your bow tie needs a little readjusting. And just let me tighten up your tuxedo. Voila! This suit used to belong to my father. You do look quite dashing in it. When I came of age, I was given a locker that held some of my parents' things. It wasn't much, but this is one of the items that I still have to remember them by. I'm a bit worried about keeping it in safe condition. Your cybernetic implants are nearly popping out of the fabric. That would be pretty embarrassing if they were to rip or tear in the middle of the party. Try not to do anything too crazy while you're on the main floor. We're nearly at the main event. Try and act natural so you don't appear to be suspicious. I'm sorry. I promise to stop fussing. After all, it's not like this is the first time you've been on a mission. And with all of the mods you have installed, there's quite a few tricks we can pull when you run into trouble. But this one is personal, isn't it? Because of Voss and how he's been torturing this person that you're psychically connected to. Just know that no matter what happens tonight, I have your back. Look at the long line of limos we just joined. You see that giant light sculpture? The morphing animals that form the shape of a woman? That's Reni's work. She's actually quite talented. Okay, it looks like they want you to get out of the limo here. Give me a kiss, handsome, before you go. Be safe. I'll be guiding you through your cerebral transmitter from here on out, activating your Z5 ocular implant so I can see what you see. There's quite a lot of people here at this party tonight. A number of famous faces, too. Like over there, that's Dex Vortex. He's a legend in the virtual reality gaming world, a pioneer in full immersion neural gaming. His stuff is known for being controversial and edgy. Dex has changed how people think of virtual experiences. I've always admired his knack for pushing the boundaries, but his personality, from what I understand, is a bit narcissistic, as you can imagine. And the immensely beautiful blue-haired woman being photographed on the red carpet is Skylar Synthwave, a pop icon known for her live holographic shows. Reni is actually responsible for some of the radiant constructs at Skylar's concerts. Apparently, the two are becoming close friends. If you haven't heard the pop star's voice before, just know that it is absolutely heavenly. She also weaves in the themes, advocating equal rights for self-aware AI and robots. Her songs are definitely provocative. Of course, she's both loved and hated for the message that she's spreading. Is Skylar looking at you? I can see your heart monitor spiking. Eyes on the mission, Buster. This was your idea to infiltrate the building, so don't go fraternizing. What are you doing? Why are you taking a picture with her all of a sudden? Do I have to leap from this limo and remind you why you're here? I don't care if the crowd pushed you into it. Taking a photograph with the city's biggest celebrity is not a way to keep a low profile at all. Okay, just let me take a breath and calm down. Who knew being your girl in the chair could make me feel this way? I guess I'm being overprotective. We only have about 15 minutes before the guards change their shifts on the data level. If you're not in position by then, I don't know if we can get you inside in order to extract the information. I'm just going to pretend that Skylar Synthwave didn't just hand you her calling card. Keep pushing ahead. You're almost to the main entrance. Okay, these guards are the ones that will check your pass. You still have the one Reni gave you, right? Great. Looks like you're passing the security checkpoint and heading up the main steps. Wow. Reni really did a great job with the scenery. I can't believe how stunning the light shows are. It's like you've stepped into some kind of interstellar singularity. These twisting shapes have so much detail that I guess they must have some kind of meaning. Now, I'm marking the area you need to reach on your ocular display. That's where the elevator is, straight ahead. Get a higher vantage point, and let's scout the area before you advance. Wow, that is quite a crowd. Now, I'm really jealous that I'm not there with you. Sorry. I should take my own advice and stay focused. The sector with the elevator looks like it's cordoned off in the VIP area. That's a problem. I don't think there's any way to sneak through with so much security. Yes, fighting your way through is an option, I suppose. But then, the entire building will be alerted before we're even at the objective. Do you have any idea how to get through to the elevator? You want to find Reni and get her help to schmooze your way to it? That's a good plan. It could work. She does know who you are. I haven't said too much about you, but she knows a little. This might put her in harm's way, so be careful that that she's not linked to the data heist. To find Rini, I suggest looking for a short Asian woman who stands out. She's got a thing for style, and she's good with making people pay attention to her fashion statements. It's how she manages to meet people like Skylar Synthwave, by being bold and making friends with the rich and powerful. If you find a large crowd taking holographs for the pop culture news feeds, you'll probably discover Rini. Well, I see you found the buffet table. Looks like they've spared no expense when it comes to the gourmet. I see encapsulated caviar, molecular sushi, and my personal favorite, which happens to be another creation of you-know-who. She even named them after herself, the Rini Pops. They're a bit like fortune cookies. As you take each bite of the dessert, they'll display images or playful messages above themselves. How did I know you were going to eat one of those Rini Pops? Let's see what it has to say about your fortune. Looks like a heart. Maybe it means something about the two of us. A bag of money. I don't know about that. We're not exactly rolling in dough by most comparisons. And a flame. That could mean a lot of things. One thing for sure is that you don't lead a boring life. I'm sometimes surprised how much we've been through together in such a short time. I hope that good fortune is in our future, if you believe in that kind of thing. Uh-oh, do you see that tall man with the silver hair standing to your left? That's Voss, the CEO of Nexus Innovations. It looks like he's talking to Dr. Clarissa Silvermain, the lead scientist of his technology department. She's the one with the hook nose and icy stare. She and I have butted heads a few times. She's even gone so far as to call my work a hack job and shoddy, which you can imagine how that makes me feel. She was the only judge who didn't vote for me when I won the tech prize. They both used to work with my mother when she was alive, so maybe there's some history there that I don't know about. Either way, Voss seems to think my ability has value, so much that he keeps taking advantage of my reliance on the monthly prize money payouts. It looks like your epinephrine levels are rising on my monitor. Don't go over there and make a scene. I understand if you feel protective of me, but despite how Voss might be taking advantage of my skills, having this prize money is the only way that I can afford to pay the mortgage on my workshop. We have to take some of the bad with the good, you know. I'm glad you're avoiding them. Thank you. Still no sign of Rini? Maybe she hasn't arrived at the party yet. Keep an eye out. We have to make sure we find her before the guards change shifts on the security level. While you look for her, I guess I can tell the story of how she and I met. It was 2 years ago, before I had my workshop, and while Rini was still a student at the Holo Design Guild, she found my services over the HoloNet because she needed help calibrating the emitter on one of her display pieces. It was acting up, distorting the images rather than illuminating them in the precise kaleidoscope of colors she envisioned. At first, I thought she might be a bit unstable because she arrived all flustered with tears streaming down her face. She needed the sculpture ready for a big competition that same night, and she was running out of time to fix it. The peculiar thing was that the images the device was rendering were more horrifying than intended. Rini enjoys inspiring and deep imagery that celebrates life. But the device was projecting crimson fangs, demons, and other oddities that were not her style at all. When I took a closer look, I discovered that there was nothing wrong with the emitter itself, but instead there was a rogue signal hijacking the core CPU. It turns out that she was being sabotaged. I managed to trace the signal back to one of her rival students named Demona at the guild, who was also competing that same night in the gala. With that knowledge, we were able to correct the images on her sculpture, and I was going to leave it at that. But she asked me, can we reverse the signal and counter-sabotage Demona's sculpture instead? It wasn't the kind of thing I would normally do. I don't believe in revenge. But she was paying me an amount of credits that was an awful lot to me at the time. So I did what she asked and managed to ghost the signal so they'd never know who was responsible. That night at the gala, Rini's sculpture astonished onlookers with its beauty, while Demona's showed the president of the Hollow Guild eating a turd. I wasn't there personally, but Rini told me she felt bad later because they were starting to talk about kicking Demona out of the guild. Anyways, they found out Demona's display had been sabotaged, so her original work was counted in the competition. Rini still took first place. Thankfully, that helped build her career to the place that it is now. We've stayed close friends ever since then. Personality-wise, she's much edgier than I am. She loves to rock the boat with social commentaries, which is probably why she's good friends with Synthwave and helps promote equal rights for self-aware AI. Me, I prefer to stay in my workshop and keep my head down. Except, of course, when I'm riding in limos, helping my boyfriend execute delicate personal missions, infiltrating powerful corporate headquarters. Quite a mouthful, indeed. I should also mention that Rini is the reason I knew about Voss's Tech Prize competition. I'm not normally clued into that kind of thing, but she heard about it and encouraged me to join. So, here we all are, a very dysfunctional family in a way, with Voss hunting you for your kaiju marked blood, and Rini being the reason that we're able to get this far. Speak of the devil, there she is. She's coming from the red carpet. Does she know how to make an entrance, or what? I mean, look at that outfit she's wrapped in, all made of programmed hololights, lighting her up in a brilliant, ever-changing glow. It's like she's a living rainbow, the way the colors chase each other, shifting from one shade to another. It's plain to me, even through the feed on your ocular implants. Of course, she wouldn't stop there. I can't believe how the lights are spiraling into this dazzling column, then flows through her dress and towards her chest. I see the genius of it now, to make her face the center of it all. Quite clever. You can tell this one design says a lot about Rini, doesn't it? Turning something like walking into a party into a full-on performance. It's bold and intended to capture attention. I almost wish I was like her, but I'm too much of an introvert. With everyone snapping so many holographs of me, I'd faint from embarrassment. You say that I'm prettier than she is, and I don't even have to try? Thank you. It's really not how I see myself. I do like to occasionally dress nice, but not in big crowds. I'm most in my element with clothes that I don't mind getting stained with grease and cybernetic fluids. I see you're making your way towards her now. You'll just have to mention the new name we gave you. She'll know exactly who you are. Right. Looks like things are going well. It seems she's caught the hint that you need her to go towards the VIP area with you. But here comes Skylar again. That's not good. These two can talk for hours. You have to do something to break them up. And now, I can't believe that Voss is joining your little group. He no doubt wants to be seen with the two women who are the talk of the party. If only he had any idea that you're the one who escaped from his strike team the other day. Well, I'm just the observer here watching, but I can tell this has turned into a real mess pretty quickly. If you take Renee towards the cordoned off area, Voss and Skylar just might follow her, and that won't work. If you're not up that elevator in 3 minutes, you won't be able to swap places with the security guard, and this mission will be a total wash. Okay, I just received your silent message, reading it now. You want me to mock up a broadcast announcement to capture everyone's attention so you can pull Renee away? That might work. I'll have to think and work fast. Okay, opening my Derez studio generation tools. Inputting storyline. Generating the video as quickly as I can with a quantum boosted algorithm. All right. I'm piggybacking your Cortex integrator splicer to reach the party's light and sound systems. This will broadcast my deepfake in the air above the party. Subverting system. And done. Playing it back now. Yes. Don't be shocked by what I came up with. I made a fake announcement that Voss and Skylar Synthwave are getting married. They won't like that because they kind of hate each other, from what Renee tells me. Yes, that has definitely caught their attention. Quick, grab Renee and have her get you into the cordoned off area. Yes, perfect. Oh my, it seems my fake newscast is causing all kinds of disruption. The crowd is fighting to get closer to the holo feed. Keep pressing through. Great. Security is letting you both into the area. No questions asked. You'll have to leave her here and take the transport up alone. Poor Renee. She has no idea what's going on. I'll never forget the expression on her face as the transport doors closed. I'm going to owe her a really nice bottle of wine when this is all done. The capsule is pretty fast, so you'll arrive at the guard station quite quickly. Okay, so you're looking for this man, Jack Ballinger, so you can borrow his identity. He should be at the guard station in this hallway. That's strange. There's only a woman sitting here? Wait, I just noticed that I missed a security update. He called in sick. He's being replaced by this guard. Her name is Samantha Lovitz. This might be a problem because we're going to use a full holo disguise to make you appear to look like her. But she's much shorter than you are by a foot. It's entirely possible the guard you're going to change shifts with will notice she's basically become a giant. But I suppose there's no choice. She's getting up to leave for her shift change. Okay, I see you've taken the initiative and hit her with your Series 2 Hyper Stunner. I'm scanning her image and finished. I notice that even though you have to hide her unconscious body, that you're being gentle and considerate with her. That says something about the kind of person you are. So now that you've scanned her identity and activated your holo disguise, you'll need to take her security badge and start moving down the hall. I have some bad news. There's a netrunner sniffing through cyberspace for my location. I do have firewalls and decoys set up, but it's only a matter of time until he finds my location. He probably caught wind of us when we hacked the party display. He might have even been sent directly from Voss himself. I have about 5 minutes until he decrypts my location. I promise that I can focus under pressure. But the sooner you get the data on that science ship, the sooner I can retrieve you. You're near the data vault station now. Remember that full body disguises become disrupted when touching surfaces like handles, so be very careful with everything that you do. That's the guard behind the reinforced glass that you're going to swap places with. See if you can pretend that you're shorter. Can you, scooch down a little or something? Are you smiling at the guard to appear friendly? Don't do that. My profiler says that Samantha Lovitz is definitely not the smiling type. Her base personality is 50% angry, 27% annoyed, and 23% cat lady. I didn't know that was an official thing. Yes, scowl. That's much more like her personality. Great. He actually seems scared of you. I guess she's not very popular with her fellow guards. Fantastic. He doesn't seem to suspect a thing. Now that you've taken over his shift, you can use Levette's security badge to access the data vault behind you. Your integrated splicer isn't strong enough to hack these series of firewalls, but don't worry. I have incursion programs I can run from my cyberdeck that can hack up to Class 5 encryption. Now that we're connected to the vault, I'm searching for the data we need. There's no file here for Caspian Amari, but there are mentions of a human subject with Kaiju-affected blood. Yes, now that I've brought up the data log, I recognize him. I'm also extracting all related files in reference to him. The Ironside VL science vessel is apparently called the Hephaestus. I have 78% of the data downloaded. It's quite a massive chunk of information. Oh no, the link has been disrupted. The netrunners know what we're doing. They know you've broken into the data center. It's time to get out of there. They've got my location too, in the limo. I have a plan. Leave the data vault and head towards the window at the far south of this corridor. Use your cybernetic arm to punch through the glass. It's reinforced hyperalloy glass, so you'll have to shatter it with your maximum setting. I'm remote controlling my Serenity X hovercar to pick you up there. You're worried about me? Well, think about me once you're safe. Get to the window while I maneuver the limo to rendezvous with you. I'm approaching now. I can see you breaking the glass. Great. Now, I'm a bit afraid for this next part. We have to give Voss something to chase. So I'm keeping the cyberdeck connected to the limo's onboard dash. But we're 80 stories above the ground. I'm going to drop from here to the Serenity X, so you'll have to catch me so I don't fall to my death. I trust you completely. Okay, here I go. Oof. That was scarier than I thought it would be, but I'm happy to be back in your arms. Okay, take the wheel of the Serenity and get us out of here. Looks like we got out of there in the nick of time. Nexus drones are moving to intercept the limo. I'm remote, controlling it to the Nakamura slums, the opposite direction of where we're going. Thankfully, it looks like we're not being followed. They've taken the bait into the slums. It looks like the Razor Gang pirates have spotted the limo. And now, they're getting into a firefight with the Nexus drones. They both really want it, clearly for different reasons. Oh my, the limo just took a stray rocket from one of the bikes. It's dropping like a stone. And it's gone, probably obliterated when it struck the ground. Unfortunately, that's going to set us back about 10 million credits. the rental place will not be happy. I'm not sure how we can possibly pay that back. You don't want me to worry about it? You should have it covered? Okay, I'll trust you with that too. Well, our mission to get more information on Amari and why the corporation wants you has been a success so far. I could tell that you knew what you were doing. You were so brave and handled each situation with confidence. I knew you had experience with this kind of thing, but it was something else to watch you in action. You say that you couldn't have done it without me. We're a team now, right? I would do almost anything for you. I say that sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. Of course, now the whole city thinks Voss and Skylar Synthwave are in a romantic relationship together. They won't like that because they kind of hate each other, from what Rini tells me. I feel a bit guilty. I hope Rini doesn't get in trouble for any of this. I've done our best to cover our tracks so far. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I only had a short peek at the data when we were transferring it. But I have a feeling that we're about to reveal some pretty big secrets about Nexus innovations. All right, looks like we're almost finished loading the cargo bay. We've got your neutrino mesh stabilizers, grav leap boosters and gloves, sync orbit helmet, and finally, the nanofiber tethers. Whew, that's the last of it. I have to say, I'm not so sure that taking this spaceship rental into orbit in order to save this Caspian Amari is a great idea. Are you really sure that you want to do this? I know you're both psychically linked, but I have to wonder if there's a better way. Maybe I can build some kind of neural inhibitor that blocks the psychic transmission you experience whenever they force him to be their living hyperdrive. I'm not sure how exactly to build an inhibitor like that, but I'm sure I could if I wanted to. I suppose that yes, it could be you up there, being tortured because of your kaiju-affected blood. It's just strange, going to save someone we don't even know. Perhaps I'm just being selfish. I only put my neck on the line for people I really care for, like you. So yes, if you really want to do this, I have your back. I might be new to this whole mission kind of thing, but I know your cybernetic mods like the back of my hand, and I know enough about systems to pilot this ship with a little help from the onboard AI. Let's just try not to trash this ship like we trashed the limo. A Class 2 Valkyrie space freighter is worth way more than just 10 million credits. I just want you to know that you're incredibly brave for doing this. Not many people would have the courage to face this situation the way that you are. If that's all for the equipment you need, I'll go ahead and close the loading dock now. Let's get situated into the cockpit. Running virtual AI assistant and our pre-flight checklist. Fuel tanks maximized. Gravitronic stabilizers online. Coolant tanks operating in the green. Shield generators at full capacity. Navigation systems are calibrated and accurate. Life support systems are fully functional. Communication arrays are clear and transmitting. Engine thrusters are tested and responsive. Energy cores are charged and stable. Sensor arrays are online and scanning. Hull integrity is confirmed at 100%. Emergency escape pods are ready and accessible. Cyber defense protocols are activated and secure. The Light Star Seeker cannons are also fully operational. Heaven forbid if we need them. If we do, we'll be in a great deal of trouble. Okay, So that's it for the checklist. Am I nervous? Is it that obvious? I haven't told you before that I've never left Neo-Tokyo. That means I've also never been into space. Why is that so surprising? When I was orphaned, it was pretty difficult for me to handle. I lost myself in the workings of gadgets and machinery. And thinking beyond the planet brings painful memories of my parents. They were both big thinkers, and space was always on their mind. The Lightstar Gateway that they helped build is a constant reminder of who they were and what they left behind. I should say, who they left behind when they were killed. Even as I explain it, I can't stop my hands from shaking. I don't know why my anxiety is this bad. I guess it's because I feel safe on the ground, in the home I know. But space? The unknown? It's the unknown that took my parents from me. It's the unknown I can't handle. I guess that's why I try to know so much about everything and how it all works. Then I can't be surprised. The more capable I am, the more I can handle. But flying away into space on a ship I barely know how to handle. Honestly, it's terrifying. No, you won't have to find a different pilot. I can handle this. And I might sound like a control freak when I say this, but I don't trust anyone else to do this mission with you. I'm willing to do anything to keep you safe. I know we've only known each other for a short time, but I don't think I could stand it if anything happened to you. Does that sound weird? Maybe a little, I don't know, crazy? I suppose it is just because I care so much. I shouldn't distract us from your mission. The ship is ready for takeoff. Shall we? Okay. Setting course for orbit to rendezvous with the ship that Amari is being held on. Launch thrusters activated. Here we go. Wow, I had no idea it would feel this way. The power inside these engines is immense. They're a pair of Hanako Corp FR-19 light thrusters. They were favorites of the United Earth government's freighters during the Sol Wars a decade ago. They're older models, but resilient. Yes, I'm trying to think of technical things to keep my mind off the anxiety. It's working so far. Now we're rising above the Neo-Tokyo skyline. I've never seen it from so high above before. We've cleared the highest towers. Even at night, I can see the curvature of the earth. It's quite something. Engines now boosting at max. We'll hit the Kármán line exiting Earth's gravity in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anti-gravity emitters activated. And there we go. We're officially in space. And look just above us. That's the Von Braun Orbital Factory, where most Class 3 vessels and above are manufactured. And next to it is none other than my parents' brighter contribution to history, the Lightstar Gateway. I've never been so close to it before. I've always known that it's one of the biggest things in our solar system, since we can see it from the surface of the Earth. But now, I can see the true scale of it, next to the other ships flying in orbit. I shouldn't get too distracted, though. I'm bringing up the science vessel holding Amari, called the Hephaestus, on the holographic tracker. There she is, parked in Orbital Shipyard 12. He should still be aboard the ship, though there's no way to tell for sure. You say that you can feel his presence now that we're this close to the ship? That must be such a weird sensation. I've set the ship on autopilot. Are you ready to suit up in the R4 Space Hopper jumpsuit? I'll help you get fitted. I'll attach the Grav Leap boosters to the legs. There we go. Now wrap this around your chest, making sure it's nice and tight, so there's no breakage in the seal. And of course, the Grav Leap gloves will give you finer control over your movement. Their thruster batteries will only last for about 2 minutes, so use them sparingly. This on your belt here is the nanofiber tether. It has a range of about 50 meters, which is the length of a small building. But when navigating space, it's really not very far. Remember to watch your HUD before launching it. And here's your backpack with the rest of the gear you'll need once you're on the hull. I quadruple checked to make sure everything is in there. Now, of course, give me one more kiss before we put your helmet on. This visor has full holographic heads-up display. It'll update your trajectory as you soar across space to the science vessel. And that's it. You're officially ready. I'll monitor your progress and do my part from here. Remember to be safe. I don't know what I'd do with myself if something were to happen to you. All right, now that you're in the airlock, I'm cycling it. Depressurizing. Opening the external door. Your HUD is displaying the angle and thrust you'll need to reach the Hephaestus. When you're ready, first detach your grav boots and then activate their thrusters. I know this is your first time doing this, but trust the computer systems to guide you. I'm now back in the cockpit and reviewing your status. Your suit integrity is stable, and I see you're now moving at 20 meters per second. There's some caution messages coming from the grav systems. I'm not sure what that's about. But otherwise, everything appears to be stable. I'm aiming the transmitter array from our ship towards the Hephaestus, activating the backdoor codes that we retrieved from the Nexus data center, overriding their sensors so they can't detect your presence. System handshake acknowledged. Linking my cyberdeck in case their onboard AI detects me and becomes a problem. But so far, everything looks good. We're undetected, and they're blind to your approach. This is as good a time as any to tell you that I spoke to Rini about what happened at the party. She wasn't happy at all with how we crashed it. She was especially displeased by our fake announcement that Skylar Synthwave and Voss were getting married to each other. I hope I didn't ruin my friendship with her in the process. But it was for a good cause, to help you, so that we can free this Amari fellow. I hope that she understands and forgives me one day. Okay, you're about 5,000 meters from the ship now. I suggest slowing down to, wait, scratch that. Their engines are heating up. I think they're about to leave the space dock. If they fully detach, they'll move out of range within moments. I see you're speeding up. There's really no choice. But you'll have to be careful not to turn yourself into a pancake against their hull, which you certainly will if you don't start slowing down at 200 meters from target. I'm getting a warning. It's your right glove. The thruster is malfunctioning. It looks like a faulty battery. That's one less thruster that you have to deaccelerate with. You're definitely going too fast. Bend your knees forward and point your boot thrusters in the direction of the ship. Give it maximum power. 500 meters from target. 200. 100. Prepare your nanofiber tether. When the HUD blinks green, launch it. 50 meters. Take your shot. Brace for impact. Lower your thruster power and keep maneuvering. don't want to be near the ship's engines once they ignite. Now that you're tethered to the ship, reel yourself in and navigate to the highlighted section on your HUD on the starboard side of the ship. I'm happy that you're securely attached to the hull. I'm sorry about the malfunction. I made sure the batteries were new and fully charged. I bought them from Nexus Innovations because of my discount. That's the last time that I buy anything from Voss's company. You'll have to find access plating J29. First, place the disruption device on the outer dish. That's our insurance policy. Later, I'll be able to disrupt their communications and engines for a short time, so we can get away. Now, use the laser cutter in your backpack to slice through the hull marked on your display. The area behind it is depressurized, so don't worry about that. But you'll have to move quick again, because we don't know where the ship is planning to go next, or how fast. I just noticed there's a luxury racer in the Star Dock called the Night Seeker. I'm pretty sure that's Voss's private spaceship. It's probably not a coincidence that it's parked near the Hephaestus. It's possible that the CEO is on board the vessel that you're trying to break into right now. Anyways, I see you've made it into the hull. It's a tight space, but the maintenance airlock is about 18 meters ahead of you. Yes, I see it through your ocular implants now. That's the one. While you repressurize, I have a random question. Do you know how to organize a space party? You plan it. Get it? Plan. It? That's pretty bad, I know. Okay, now you're safely inside the ship's inner hull. Stay within the crawl space and follow the markers on your HUD. They will take you to the hyperdrive bay. Hopefully, Amari will be there right now. If not, we'll worry about that bridge if we come to it. Another question as you make your way. Do you know what kind of music I like to listen to in space? Neptunes. Nep. Tunes. Hee hee. I know, I'm the worst when it comes to puns. I see you're near the hyperdrive bay. Remove the paneling below you, but do so carefully. We don't want anyone to notice you're here. Yes, that's it. I see Amari there. His arms restrained where the null energy conduits synergize with his kaiju inherent powers. And surprise, surprise, that's Voss down there too, talking to the engineering team. Honestly, we should think of them more like prison guards. What they're doing to this Caspian Amari fellow is immoral and unethical. In the data files, he's not even named. He's just an experiment to them. And they'd have done the same thing to you if we hadn't escaped from their strike team. It looks like they're arguing about Amari's health. Apparently, he's been unconscious for a while, and he's not waking up. I guess they pushed him a little too hard, forcing him to act as their living hyperdrive. This next part is going to require the use of all your cybernetic implants and the tricks that they come with. You'll have to shoot the guards and Voss with your stunner. Then detach Amari and bring him to the escape pods down the hall. Once you're launched, I'll swoop by and pick you up. Whenever you're ready. I'm staying a safe distance from the ship, but if I keep following them like this, eventually they might get suspicious. I see you're taking your shots now. Be careful. Whew. That's everyone down. You might as well stun Voss again for good measure. All right. Now access the system I highlighted here. That looks like it'll control Amari's restraints. The man is super pale. This poor person. They've obviously mistreated him. Thankfully, your presence hasn't been detected on the ship. You'll have to carry Amari. Turn left at the corridor here. See those doors 22 meters down the hall? Those are the escape pods. The alarms are blaring, and I'm being hailed. They definitely know that something is wrong. I'm activating our insurance policy now. That'll disrupt their communications and engines for about 3 minutes. Get into the same pod as Amari. Quick. I'm maneuvering into position, so once your pod ejects, you'll fly straight into my tractor beam. Okay. I see you've jettisoned. Positioning myself, and there, I caught you. Reeling your escape pod into the cargo bay. Pod secure. Repressurizing cargo bay. You're safe to get out. I'm getting us a safe distance from the science vessel. By the time they get their systems back online, we'll be long gone. Now let me join you in the cargo bay and see if this Amari fellow is okay. Medical diagnostics says he's physically distressed. It might take a while longer to know how he really is. But this is very peculiar. Both your skin and his skin are glowing. These strange kind of swirls are moving on your faces, almost identically. It must have something to do with the link of your kaiju-affected blood. The ship's autopilot reports that we've entered the Earth's atmosphere again, and there's no sign of anyone following us. If my ID spoofer worked as planned, Voss will have no idea who just boarded his ship and took his prisoner. When we land, I'll have an autodoc take a look at Amari and see if we can help him. That was an awful lot of trouble to help a stranger, but I understand why you wanted to help him. I'm not usually involved with this kind of thing directly. An operation? A mission? How have I been doing so far? That's kind of you to say. I thought my heart might beat from my chest more than a few times. I was really worried about you, but it looks like everything worked out. And once again, I feel like we make a great team. You can count on me, and I know that I can count on you. Whatever comes our way, isn't that what really matters? So, I'm trying not to get freaked out too much. It feels a little silly, with a blindfold covering my eyes, especially while I'm wearing this shiny new dress. I know you want it to be a surprise wherever you're taking us to. It is Valentine's Day, after all. So, I'll try to be more patient. The Serenity X is flying much more smoothly now, right? Much better than the last time. I had to recalibrate her G20 injection system after our last adventure. She's a bit like me. We both take some getting used to. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, it is a trick question. I see you're not falling for it, though. I feel we're on a descent now. Does that mean we're almost to our destination? I don't really like having so little control in a situation like this. I can feel my heart beating in my chest. Take my hand and guide me to wherever we're going, because I can't see a thing. You want me to guess where we've arrived? I have no idea. It's a garage, right? But which garage? Maybe if I had the same kind of cybernetic implants like the ones that you have, I might be able to extrapolate some data. But being just a vanilla human, I really can't guess. You say I've been here before? I guess we're walking through some kind of lobby. I can hear fountains, I think. But that doesn't give me much of a hint. Plenty of buildings sound like this one, don't they? You're stepping me into an elevator? Okay, I'll watch my step. Elevators are funny, aren't they? The way they tickle our tummies when they rise. Just a random thought I had. Okay, now we're definitely entering a restaurant or bar of some kind. I can hear people chatting politely and glasses clinking. But otherwise, I have no idea which one you've taken me to. Can I take my blindfold off now? Pretty please? Great. Whew. I'm relieved. So, something about this place does look familiar, but I can't quite place it. It's definitely one of the finer establishments I've seen. The staff is also being incredibly polite. It's called Jenny Hardigan's. That sounds familiar. Is it supposed to ring the bell? If it's famous, and I'm supposed to know, I'm sorry. I understand a lot more about cybermods and hover cars than I do fancy places like this. And you reserved us a window seat. Look at that view. It's stunning and somehow familiar. Now that I've had time to let it sink in, I know exactly where we are. I'm at a loss for words. To be honest, I feel a bit dizzy all of a sudden. This is Aiko's proto-luxury apartments, where I grew up as a child with my parents. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that you remembered. I did say that I wish I could come back here, but I hadn't thought about it fully. It was just a passing thought. Sometimes, I wonder what it would be like if I could go back as a child, when my mom and dad were still alive. I miss their warmth and understanding. Still, it's very thoughtful of you to bring me here for Valentines. No, it's not weird. It's okay. I just need to gather myself for a moment. Our apartment was on this side of the building. There used to be a nightclub on the rooftop over there. At night, I would watch the people partying and jumping into the pool, wishing I was grown up already so that I could join them. Of course, nothing totally stays the same. The club has been replaced by that towering hollow billboard. It's nice to go back and think about memories, isn't it? Who we were impacts who we're being now. If my parents had lived, maybe I'd have ended up a scientist, like them, working for the government, and maybe even building light stargates. It was hard, moving from foster home to foster home. Eventually, I took in with the High Volts gang when I was 17. I started working on their hover bikes, and that's when I learned how to turn my love of tinkering into a trade, something I could earn a living from. And of course, there's the cybermods, which pay well. But there's plenty of risk. The clientele aren't all like you. Most of them are outlaws, and it can be a risky business. Don't worry. I have automated defenses in my workshop in case any of them get any funny ideas. You can't be there to protect me all the time. I've made it this far all by myself, so I know that I'm not alone anymore. Because I have you, and we've been through quite a lot together. I never thought I'd be dating someone who has kaiju blood, of all things, and that itself has been the source of some strange adventures. Rini did send me a message yesterday, after that whole fiasco at the corporate party. I think she's kind of forgiven me. I'm giving her the space she needs, you know? And Amari, who we saved from Voss's science vessel, has gone his own way for now. I wish he'd told us more about himself before he left. You both share some kind of strange power to connect with the transdimensional fabric of space-time. That's a mouthful, and even I don't understand what it means. It seems like you have the unique ability to move starships between points in the universe. We still have the data from Nexus Innovations. With enough time, we might be able to configure a similar device of our own. But it'd be mighty expensive. Though, after what we saw Amari go through, and quite painfully, maybe it's best we don't even think about putting you through an experience like that. Some things are left best unknown, right? You've always wanted to explore the universe, you say. Well, so have I. But it seems like a lot to think about right now. Honestly, I just want to sit here with you and enjoy the moment. I never imagined I'd have a boyfriend who is as brave as you are. You're like some kind of hero. And I only say this because I've known my fair share of mission runners with mods like yours, and it's easy to feel scared around them. But you make me feel safe. You've given me hope that maybe I don't have to live life alone, that someone does really care about me and listens. And with you around, I feel seen, like I don't have to hide anymore. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I love you. There. I said it. I don't think I've said that to anyone in years, except for my Serenity X4. But she's just a hover car. I haven't let many people into my life. I'm glad I let you in, because you've become important to me, more than I can put into words. Does that make sense? I'm so glad to hear you say that. I want to spend forever here with you, above the neon-drenched city, looking deeply into your eyes, as I am now. Let's stay here a while, and pretend the rest of Neo Tokyo doesn't exist. It's just you and me, the love of my life. Thank you for listening to the Neon Hearts series of Cyberpunk Girlfriend. If you enjoyed our adventure, become a member of my channel and enjoy rewards such as my back catalog of unreleased episodes and more. Becoming a member helps me release new adventures for the two of us. Our journey continues in our next collection, called Beyond All Barriers.